Ahlo sahla fikum. Welcome everybody to the Australian Syrian Business Council launched their first dinner ever in Sydney. So it's a monumentous occasion. So big round of applause for you guys being here today. I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting here on traditional lands, and we'd like to acknowledge the elders of these lands, past, present, and of course emerging, and we pay respects to them. So my name is George Busamra. I'll be your MC for this evening, and I am truly touched to be part of this occasion, joining it with you, and hopefully, toast to this group with many more years of success to come. So if they can put on a function like this on day one, can you imagine where they'll be this time next year and the year after that, and inshallah, 100 years after that, or belkun meye inshallah, right? As we all say in Arabic. So there are plenty of you here. It's great to see so many faces. And of course, there are some people who couldn't make it, and they have this lame excuse saying that they're at work tonight. And that is a true testament to the strength and the determination of the Syrian community, always putting themselves out there to work hard and strive. I always say, if you give the Syrian community a small piece of opportunity to do something great, they can change a country. So thank you very much for being here with us this evening. I'd like to acknowledge, celebrating with us tonight, we do have our table of dignitaries over here, so I'd like to acknowledge Minister Mark Curray, Multiculturalism Minister and Minister for the Seniors. We also have Senator David Shoebridge, welcome to him, representing New South Wales. We have Bilal El-Hayek, representing Canterbury Bankstown City Council as the Deputy Mayor, but let's say Acting Mayor. Can we use that word for the moment, please? Welcome to him. We also have Rochelle Harika from Canterbury Bankstown City Council and George Bashar from Fairfield Council as well. There are plenty other dignitaries and community leaders here tonight joining us. It'll be hard to acknowledge you all, but I'll tell you something. If you're in this room, you're definitely a community leader. So a big round of applause and welcome to you all. Now what we'd like to do, if everyone can please stand, we'd like to play the Australian National Anthem followed by the Syrian Anthem. And if you do know the words, please do join us. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and world for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, and let us sing, advance Australia fair. And a big round of applause to Mustafa for saving the day with that one. Thank you very much, mate. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about business, ladies and gentlemen, when I try to do research on culture and business, I always look to a nation's poetry. So naturally, we have a lot of great Arab poets. We have the likes of Al-Mutanabbi from Iraq. We've got Khalil Gibran from Lebanon. And then I had to dig deep. I called up a few friends and I found a pretty profound poet originating from Syria. And that's Nazir Kabani. Have we heard of this gentleman before? Have I pronounced his name right? Nazar Kabani. Okay, great. We're off to a good start because I'm going to start reciting some poetry and hopefully we can relate it back to business. So I spoke to three of my friends. I spoke to Reem, I spoke to Ruba, and I spoke to Dana. And they gave me their three favourite quotes. If I can have your attention, this one's going to be a beaut. When a lady looks for a husband, right? So if there's any single men in the room, how many single men in the room? We're all happily married? We're all married. Okay, well, that's a good start at least anyway. Exactly, right? A female doesn't want a rich man or a handsome man or even a poet. But what she wants is a man who understands in her eyes and he gets it and points to her chest and says, here is your home country. That is a beautiful stanza in the poem because it actually makes us think as to why we're here today. Where's our home country and what do we stand for? So all about the true values that we hold. You can relate that to love, you can relate that to business as well. So that was Ruba's extract. I spoke with Dana, and Dana said, there are those who love quietly, who respect you quietly, who wishes you privately and keeps you away when you are busy, and contents himself with love for the sake of love and respect. And so that shows that when you are at the top, it might feel lonely, but they're always out there. You're always going to have secret admirers or people there wishing you the best, and never forget that they're around. So when you're successful in business, and there's plenty of you that we've met before in the past, it might feel a bit lonely at the top, but you know what? There are people out there secretly wishing you the best. So that was a lovely piece coming from Dana. Then Reem comes on board. She says, with men, you should kill them, then hug them, because men are more faithful when they're dead. Okay, so we've got the happily married women over there. And that really just goes to show that we must be faithful to what we do, and each and every day that we must put 110% into all of our actions and activities. And these are the three extracts that I found were quite great from Nazar Kabani. So thank you so much for indulging me with that. Now what I would like to do is to introduce the Secretary of the Australian Serious Business Council, and that is Dr. Mahadnan Masuri from the Centre of Advanced Structural Engineering from the University of Sydney. Doctor, can I please welcome you to the stage? Big round of applause for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, أيها السيدات والسادة, Ladies and gentlemen, أيها السيدات والسادة, you are more than welcome today to join us at our party. Let me start to begin with acknowledging the owners, the custodians of the land on which we gather, meet. We respect their elders, past and present, and we extend our respect to Aboriginal and the Torres Strait Islanders people. It is our pleasure today to have you joining us at the lunch party of our Australian Syrian Business Council. We are delighted to have you on, and I would like to just mention that Australia is a vibrant and multicultural country. It's the most successful country in the world in multiculture. The rich cultural diversity is one of our great strengths in Australia. I will leave it to our Minister, Hon Mark Gore, to enlighten us about that more. So, the well-known motivational proverbs states that the journey of 1,000-mile start begins with one single step. And our council start his first step in July last year. It was vision initiated and registered in Sydney, Australia. Our business council was initiated by a group of 9 professional people who has long-term experience and skills with successful business. I will refer to our council from now on by ASBC, which is the initial for Australian Syrian Business Council. The slogan of our council is, "We are a council with a global vision." Let me invite our team, our colleagues, and to introduce themselves, and we start. Would you please come to the stage? Okay. I will start introducing our team from right to left. We start with Mr. Luay Rifai. He has in manufacturing industry, and he has a lot of innovative material, which is add to our construction industry a lot of innovations. Our executive member, Dr. Ammar Hamad, he is specialized in biomedical and health, medical stuff. He has a lot of innovations, and which is really outstanding to prevent any operations and all this. It can make recovery without any need for operations, especially heart attacks and all this. Our president of the council, Dr. Ali Jourieh, he is right to me. He is specialized in political science, and he has long experience in a lot of various industry, especially he is concentrating on health, food, and all this. So many of the products which you can see on your tables, it's supplied by him. I will keep myself to the last. On my left hand, Mr. Ali Ramadan. He is in the industry and fabrication. He has a lot of innovation materials, which is outstanding for the building construction, and which has the latest gold mark and NATA approval. Our Vice President, Engineer Zafer Aye, he is long experience in engineering, and his main area is stone, natural stones. He has a lot of outstanding construction and buildings around Australia. Dr. Alex Ashi, he is specialized in IT, and he is a financial advisor, and he actually established our council and made a lot of effort with his advice and proactivity. Our Executive Director, Dr. Bashar Kahawati, he specialized in airports and roads, and he has long experience in the industry and for different aspects in Australia and overseas. I will end up with myself. My name is Mahannad Mursi, and I'm specialized in structural engineering, especially infrastructures and bridges, tunnels, high-rise buildings. I provide consultancy for different companies and government sectors. I work long-term for top universities in the world, which is ranks in the top 10 and still working. So that's our team. They have their various experience, and they have the motivation to guide and mentor especially our young generation, and encourage all this innovation for future. I will speak some words about which is mentioned on the screen. So our council, ASBC, is a big member-based associations which promote the trade and investment between professionals and business people in Australia. At the same time, ASBC work with the Australian and Syrian business people, Chamber of Commerce and Industry Association to promote business opportunity in both directions. The vision of our council is to encourage skilled community people to participate and present their work, especially innovations, to the Australian society. ABC will strive to offer the most extensive and valuable business development advices, networking, and connection to its members. The mission of SBC will be to endeavor to connect members through a range of high standards activity, networking, and events. ASBC will do the best to develop business leaders and innovators, especially our young generation, by providing mentoring, guidance, and development opportunity to all ASBS members. The objective of the Council is to develop business cooperation and partnership opportunity among members and the society. Thank you for your attention, and you are more than welcome, and please enjoy your dinner.
If I can please have your attention, just on the side over here, Elizabeth Reid. I think that always gets everyone's attention every time I try to speak Arabic, so let's do that from now on. I would also like to acknowledge that we do have two more people have joined us this evening, and that is Tanya Mihalik, the member for Bankstown. So big welcome to Tanya Mihalik, our local member here, big supporter of the community, and of course the Honourable Shalket Bissalmani. Ahlan sahlan Shalket, great to see you, buddy. So now we get to the more the official side of the evening. And I do know it gets a little bit exciting when the food's out, but if we can just bear with us for a couple of moments, because our next bunch of speakers, you really do want to listen to what they have to say, particularly how it relates back to the community and what you guys are trying to achieve with the Business Council. So, easy done. So I'd like to welcome the Minister of Multiculturalism, the Minister for Science, the Honourable Mark Curray, to the stage, the member for Oatley, who's also a local member that's strongly affiliated with this community. So ladies, big round of applause for the Honourable Mark Curray.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, George. It's wonderful to be here today. I want to firstly acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I've just noticed my wife's cousins are over there from Flasorb in Lebanon. I also want to acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues that are here, Tanya Mihalik, the member for Bankstown, Shalket Bissalmani from the Upper House, a number of councillors that are here, David Shoebridge, Senator David Shoebridge, very exciting. Congratulations, David. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour to be here today as Minister for Multiculturalism here at, of course, the Australian Syrian Business Council launch, a very important launch. As we heard previously, we are one of the most multicultural communities anywhere in Australia, if not the world, a wonderful example of multiculturalism. And, of course, we've got people from all corners of the globe here in Sydney, here in New South Wales. Well, our biggest asset are our people, and we have a large multicultural community, a very active multicultural community, and I want to thank, of course, the Syrian communities for everything that they have done over many, many years. 17 years ago, maybe 16 years ago, I was in Lebanon and then ventured to Syria and then back to Lebanon again, and I had a wonderful time. I got to see some of my wife's cousins in Lebanon, and they looked after us immensely. I want to really thank the contribution of the Syrian community for everything that you have done. And it's wonderful today to be at this launch, a real honour to be at this launch. And I want to thank Ali and the wonderful team behind this organisation. I also want to acknowledge, of course, the media, the Arabic media that are here too today. No doubt they're going to be reporting how good this launch is in their papers next week. Ladies and gentlemen, our communities are only strong by the support they've got. And tonight there is a lot of support and a lot of love and support in the room for the Syrian Business Chamber. I really want to thank and acknowledge and wish you all the very, very best for, I think, many, many years of success. I look forward to coming back time and time again. Let me know when your events are on. We'll certainly support it. I look forward to supporting it into the future. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now I'd like to welcome the Honourable Shalket Bissalmani, member of the Legislative Council of New South Wales since 2009. And we'd love to see many more years coming out of him as well. He's a man who brings the community together. There he is over here. Please welcome him to the stage.
Well, thank you so much, George, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for this wonderful invitation to be here with you this evening. First of all, let me acknowledge the traditional owners of this land and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. They are the owners, the original owners of the land, and we should always respect them because they own the land and they looked after the land for the last 50, 60,000 years. So our respects go to them, as our respects go to everybody that is here tonight, my parliamentary colleagues, Tanya Mihalik, of course, She's the Shadow Minister for Natural Resources. My parliamentary colleague, now Senator David Shoebridge, a great contributor to the rights and justice of the Indigenous Australians. So I thank him for also being here. And Mark Curray, Multicultural New South Wales. He's a minister, he's a friend, and I thank him for being here. And I thank all the councillors that are here. Wonderful support for the Australian Syrian Chamber or Business Council. It is wonderful to see, really, to see an organisation such as this. It is very, very important, particularly when you have in Syria at the moment, the war that's still going on. Syria definitely needs its people, wherever they are in the diaspora. I understand there's about 30 or 35,000 Syrians in Australia. They can be the real engine of the economy for not only Australia, but also Syria. We have many organisations in Australia, many community, many business organisations in Australia. The Arab Council, the Arab Business Council, is a very active organisation. And of course, we have many others in the Asian Australian communities that are extremely active, as not only as community organisations, but more importantly, as business organisations, ensuring that there's trade and there's business in Australia and internationally as well. So your creation of this wonderful organisation is going to be dependent on the executive, on the members of the organisation. You can have a wonderful name, but that name and the people in that organisation must be very active to ensure that they engage the businesses, engage the entrepreneurial skills, the knowledge, the know-how that people have, and they can use that knowledge and that entrepreneurial skill to ensure that there's trade between Australia and Syria, Australia and the Arab world, and Australia and everywhere else. So congratulations to the organisation for this wonderful formation meeting. But as Mark Curray said, we always thank our media, because our media is really our voice. Without them, we cannot project what we are all about. And just reading a little bit about the Syrian community, as I said, there's about 39 or 40,000 according to 21 census. But importantly, there has been a real struggle for local businesses from Syrian background. And some of them are trying hard to find ways and means to enter the Australian market, but more importantly, the trade market with overseas. So as a council, as a chamber, as a business council, you sit at a very important juncture for these people. So your organisation will be a wonderful organisation to help them succeed and help Australia also progress. So with that, thank you so much for the invitation, and look forward to a wonderful evening with family and friends. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, Shaukat. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage Senator David Shoebridge, former member of the Legislative Council in New South Wales, dating back since 2010, and we're so great to see him here as a new representative of the great state of New South Wales in the Senate. David Shoebridge, everybody, welcome.
Thanks, George, and thanks to the Council for the invitation to come here tonight. I too acknowledge we're on First Nations land, and we pay our collective respects to First Nations elders past, present and emerging. We've got a new parliament in Canberra, and one of the first things it should be doing is delivering a just outcome to First Nations peoples, recognising that Indigenous connection to land, recognising the injustice of invasion over the last 2 centuries, and actually taking the steps towards justice, treaty, land and truth with First Nations peoples. And I know that the Syrian and Australian community understands that connection with land and will work with us on that journey. I do also want to pay tribute to my parliamentary colleagues from my former workplace, indeed. Minister, Tanya and Shaukat, 3 people who I genuinely respect with their connection to the community. They are in politics for the right reasons, all 3 of those members of the State Parliament. I've seen their work up close. We come from different political tribes, but I I genuinely acknowledge each of them for their commitment to community. They're out here tonight not to play politics, but because they know the connection with community is a core part of their work. So lovely to see you all here tonight. Can I also say briefly, with this new parliament, I hope will come a new foreign affairs direction with the Australian government. I'm a Greens senator in the balance of power in the federal Senate, and I would hope that we use that balance of power to redirect the Australia's foreign relations, move it away from a very much a military-driven, I think quite often unnecessarily aggressive approach, not least in the Middle East and with countries such as Syria, and focus much more on those business and people-to-people communications, and rethink our engagement with the world. And what I hope is that organisations such as the Syrian Australian Business Council can be part of that work of reimagining and reconnecting and reshaping our international relations. Because the more business-to-business connections we have, the more people-to-people connections we have, the far stronger our economy will be, the far safer our planet will be. And if we focus on that rather than a militarised approach to our international relations, we know how much better that will be for Australia, how much better that will be for Syria, how much better that will be for the world. And I hope that you use your organisation and your connections in the country to help drive us down that path. There's a lot of work to be done there, and I hope to work with you over the next months and years to deliver that. And lastly, I'd say this. For a first function, you have done bloody well. A really powerful show of the strength of the community, and you're obviously being led by an extremely skilled and talented executives. I counted at least 2 PhDs in your executive, and the breadth of skill and talent in the executive in the community is on display tonight. So if you wanted to send a message to me to take down to Canberra, if you wanted to send a message to the 3 state MPs and the councillors, and I acknowledge the councillors here today and the work they do in the community, well, you sure as heck have done this tonight with this dinner. Let's do more of that. Let's change the direction of this country, and I hope you every success in your venture. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Senator. Now I'd like to welcome Tanya Mahalik, the member for Bankstown, to the stage and welcome us to Bankstown, right?
Thank you, George. I'll be very brief because I know that the main purpose of tonight, of course, is to network and mingle amongst friends here. So that's very important. Can I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting upon and pay my respects to both past, present and emerging elders. Look, it is an amazing evening and we've had some wonderful speeches here from our federal representative in Senator Shoebridge, in our state ministerial representative here with Minister Curray, and of course my colleague, the Honourable Shaket Mosamani. And we're very blessed also tonight to have representatives from Bankstown, Canterbury Bankstown Council, in Councillor Bilal El Hayek and Councillor Rochelle Harika, and also Councillor George Barcher from Fairfield City Council. So we have representatives here from all different levels of government, and as David suggested also, from different political tribes. But it does say that we do hold your community in great... we do hold you in terrific manner, because I've got to say what the Syrian community has been through has been horrific. We know that many of your family and friends are suffering overseas. We know that you came here to Australia with virtually nothing, and you had to build yourselves, your families, your businesses up. There's no doubt about that. I've gotten to know your chairman, Ali Durea, very well, and I want to acknowledge Ali and Mona, who are my dear friends from Georges Hall, and their business, long-standing business in Milperra. To the many other board members, to Dr Morsi as secretary, and to each of you, you have done an outstanding job in volunteering your time, your efforts in putting this council together. It's your stewardship, your leadership that is the reason why we're all here today. It's important that we acknowledge that, because you're volunteering your time. You're successful business people in your own right. You have managed to achieve tremendous success that your community can be so proud of, that all of us here as a community are proud of. We are lucky that we're a very multicultural community, but we're also very lucky that the Syrian community in particular have found a home in southwest Sydney, and that your businesses are growing from strength to strength here. So we thank you for coming here. We thank you for enriching our society. We're a much better society for the work and efforts that you've put in. So I want to acknowledge that. It's important to acknowledge that, and in particular to your board. When you stood, all of you here today, as David said, the PhDs, the level of effort that you have put in establishing and nurturing your own businesses, and the fact that you want to make sure that the next generation of Australians of Syrian heritage will also be able to establish these business connections, the fact that you want to give your skills and your expertise back to the community is outstanding. And it's what we here as members of Parliament are here today to acknowledge and thank you for what you're about to do. It's not going to be easy. I'm sure you're going to have a whole range of discussions and opportunities before you. There will be challenges. We know we're heading into a bit of an economic downturn, so it's so important to have these councils come together so that there are those connections, that we build those networks together, both here in New South Wales, but across Australia, and building those connections with trade overseas as well. So thank you for your incredible efforts. Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome to Bankstown. I've been here many, many times at Summerland, and you haven't made it in life until you have a function here in Summerland, okay? This is an amazing restaurant. At some stage, everyone's been here at this restaurant, but it's a restaurant that's nurtured a lot of business connections in itself. So thank you for being here, and I wish you great success with your endeavours. Thank you, everybody.
That was lovely, Tanya. Thank you so much. Now, the next two speakers are from neighbouring business councils. They would like to wish this board and you all the very much success. And I'd now like to welcome Mrs. Jinan Issa to the stage, who is the President of the Australian Arab Business Council, my dear President as well, Jinan Issa. Big round of applause for her. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgie.
Hi, good evening. Yis'ad Masekon. I'd like to start off by saying, by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, both past, present and emerging. For those of you who don't know me, Jinan Issa, the President of the Australian Arab Business Council. George and I have been President and Vice President for the last 3 to 4 years, so we've seen the highs and lows of COVID, and we're very excited to be coming out of it now. As a child of Syrian heritage, my dad got here from Syria in 1969. I'm very proud to see the launch of this, so thank you, Ali, and the rest of the board for inviting us along. We really look forward to collaborating with you and supporting you in every which way, because there's nothing more beautiful to see than self-made Arabs, Syrians in this case, working and creating a wonderful future for themselves and their children in Australia, and creating our own little subculture of Syrian Australians. So thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you and meeting with you as soon as possible. Cheers.
Thank you, Jinan Issa. Now we have our final speaker, and that is Mr. Ijaz Khan, President of the Australian Pakistani Association, and of course SEO of the Juris Australian Lawyers. Please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you for the warm introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My job will be as the President of Pakistan-Australia Association to bring this Syrian-Australian Business Council to Pakistan, because you have a lot of experience and Pakistan have a lot of opportunities. And I will be putting you guys with the High Commissioner of Pakistan to explore the opportunities in Pakistan available for you. And opportunities for you, that mean opportunities for Australia. Australia has brain drain for many years from the countries. They bring a lot of capable people like you guys. And this is the success story of that. And multicultural success story is tonight among us. Look at this, beautiful people, brainy people, successful people. They leave their country, came and got Australia as home, and after that, they have successfully make the mark in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Can you put hands together for all these migrant success stories? And I wish to congratulate Dr. Ali, Dr. Jury, and all your team for putting this club together. And I hope that you will be successful. My all sincere cooperation is always with you whenever you need a legal advice on the structure of this organization, on the structure of a new businesses. I will be more than happy to be volunteer to provide this advice. Let me acknowledge all these lovely and very honorable people, members of the Parliament, members of the Senate, especially David Shoebridge. We call it Senator-elect. Until tomorrow. Senator-elect. He said that we want to change Australia. I think change is imminent now because the horizon, if we see the international politics, the horizon is changing. And I think the war in Ukraine is affecting everybody. If not yet, but in a few years, this war, let's hope from the God that this war will not expand to other part of the Europe. But in my view, that this war will impact everyone in Australia as well. So we need a new partners, business partners. We need to have a more manufacturing in our country, especially when we have a strained relationship with China. China was the biggest manufacturing hub. And since we have a strained relationship with them, we need to have our own manufacturing industry here. And this chamber can play an important role to bring manufacturing industry in this country. And I'm proud of you guys, and I'm proud of my association with you. Congratulations, and think about it, and let the politicians know that you are ready to bring in manufacturing in this country so that can create a job, have a more taxes, have a more prosperous country, and Australia is our home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to welcome onto the stage back again some of the executives of the Australian Syrian Business Council, and of course some of our dignitaries to come and join us. So Minister Kure, the Honourable Shoaib Mislamani, Senator David Shoebridge, Tony Mihalik, and of course Deputy Mayor Bilal Al-Hay. Can you please join us on the stage for a small presentation? Ali Jaria, Zafar around here. Dr. Alex and Dr. Bashar Kurwati, if they can please join us on the stage. Oh, so I'd like to call upon Ali Jourier to present the gift to Minister Kure. What we have is a lovely handcrafted box from Syria, each piece individually cut, coloured and put together. Thank you, Ali Jourier. Thank you, Minister. Excellent. Mr. Zafar Alek will present to the Honourable Shauket Muslimani. Dr. Alex Ashay will present to Senator David Shoebridge. Dr. Mohanad will present to Tania Mahalik. Dr. Bashar Katawani will present to Deputy Mayor Bilal Al-Hayek. Can we please give him a big round of applause? Oh, well, we got one more. Oh, one more for George Basher. Please join us on the stage, lucky man. Dr. Aman will present the gift. Thank you, Dr. Aman. Thank you, George. Excellent. Can we please give them a big round of applause? Thank you, everyone, for your support.
حبيبي كتبوا لنا كتيب وخدها الهوى بيعز علي غني يا حبيبي لا أول مرة ما بنكون سوا سألوني الناس عنك يا حبيبي كتبوا لنا كتيب وخدها الهوى بيعز علي غني يا حبيبي لا أول مرة ما بنكون سوا سألوني الناس عنك سألوني قلت لهم راجع وعن تلوموني سألوني الناس عنك سألوني قلت لهم راجع وعن تلوموني غمضت عيوني خوفي للناس يشوفوك مخبى بعيوني واللي انكوى متشوي انكوى لا أول مرة ما بنكون سوا سألوني عنك يا حبيبي كتبوا المكاتيب واخدها الهوى بيعز علي يا حبيبي لا أول مرة لا بنكون سوا. طل من الليل قال لي ضوي، لقاني الليل طفى اناديلي. طل من الليل قال لي ضوي، لقاني الليل طفى اناديلي. لا تسأليني كيف استهداك، كان قلبي لعندي دليلي، واللي انكوى مشوى انكوى. لأول مرة ما بنكون سوا. سألوني عنك يا حبيبي، كتبوا المكاتيب واخدها الهوى. بيعز علي غني يا حبيبي، لا أول مرة ما بنكون سوا. أشوف جمال القمر تخطر على بالي، ويطول عليا السهر والسود يحلالي. أشوف جمال القمر تخطر على بالي، ويطول عليا السهر والسود يحلالي. والسود يحلالي، صعب علي السهر في البعد يا غالي. أحني لك والهوى نار بتكويني، أقول يا ريت القدر يسعد معاك حالي يا ليل يا ليل يا ليل. اجا الشحد على باب الدار قالت له الحلو على الله. اجا الشحد على باب الدار قالت له الحلو على الله. قال انا ماني شحات، قال انا ماني شحات. عطيني بص دقيق الله، عطيني بص دقيق الله. كنا ست على النبع، اجا المحبوب صرنا سبع. كنا ست على النبع، اجا المحبوب صرنا سبع. قال انفس ما طيتو، قال انفس ما طيت. الكل حرم يوم الجمعة يا عين، الكل حرم يوم الجمعة. فوق النخل فوق فوق يابا، فوق النخل فوق. مدري لما خدتك يابا، مدري القمر فوق. فوق النخل فوق فوق يابا، فوق النخل فوق. مدري لما خدتك يابا، مدري القمر فوق. والله ما بيدك ملالي بالوحيد. الله يا مجرى المية بسلم عليهم عليهم. صعباني فرقة علي يا بشتقنا إليهم إليهم. والله يا مجرى المية بسلم عليهم عليهم. صعباني الفرقة والسدى العيون ما ظني مجنون بليلة أظن بعض الجنون أظن بعض الجنون قلتك الميس ويا عمري يا غصين البال كاليدر قلتك الميس ويا عمري يا غصين البال كاليدر وانتو أحلى الناس في نظري جل من سواك يا قمري أنا وحبيبي بجنينة والورد مخيم علينا أنا وحبيبي بجنينة والورد مخيم علينا طلب مني وصال يا ربي تستر علينا قدك الميس ويا عمري قدك الميس ويا عمري يا غصين البال كاليدر وانتو أحلى الناس في نظري جل من سواك يا قمري. Thank you.
مساء الخير وأهلا وسهلا فيكم أصدقائنا وأحبتنا أبناء الجالية العربية السورية والأشقاء اللبنانيين والعراقيين وجميع من شاركنا في هذا الاحتفال. إننا اليوم نجتمع تحت شعار الوطن سوريا الحبيبة وتحت شعار المملكة المتحدة التي استراليا هي جزء منها. نحن نتعاون ونعمل ضمن إطار وطني لخدمة أبناء الجالية العربية السورية في أستراليا ولخدمة وطننا الحبيب الغالي سوريا. أهلا وسهلا فيكم ومنرحب فيكم مرة ثانية ودوما تبقى سوريا في القلب وأستراليا في القلب وأهلا وسهلا فيكم. نتمنى مشاركتنا بالفعاليات الأخرى.
كانسلر جورج بارشا من فيفل سيتي كونسل. It was great honor أنا جيت اليوم لهون على اللانش تبع الاسوسيشن. كلهم successful. Every second director is a doctor and that makes me proud to see so many doctors having so many initiatives coming for people coming from overseas, especially from the Middle East and Syria. Well done. I hope they do a very good job for the people coming from overseas. Show them the light for the association. All the best.
أنا اسمي غسان نعمي من قبل منظمة غير رابحة بأستراليا اسمها Thrive Refugee Enterprise. نحن بنساعد المهاجرين الجايين جديد على أستراليا أول ما يوصلوا لهون بيقدروا يتصلوا فينا لحتى نحن نساعدهم ليباشروا بأعمال تجارية هون. كمان بنعطيهم قروض لحتى يمشوا الأشغالهم هون. فلما توصلوا لهون طلعوا واسألوا عنا. نحن اسمنا ثرايف ريفيجي انتربرايز.
أنا اسمي سام حبيب من محافظة الحسكة. صار لي تقريبا 35 سنة بهالبلد. عندي شركة إنشاءات للهدم والحفر بما فيه الكار بارك تحت الأرض. صار لي بالمصلحة تقريبا ما يقارب 20 سنة. عندي معدات وآليات هندسية. موظفين بما يقارب من 15 ل 20 حسب الأعمال. أنا أفتخر وأعتز باستراليا، وأتمنى من كل الأخوة الموجودين يعملوا جهدهم بتطوير المهن اللي عم يشتغلوا فيها لمصلحة سوريا ولمصلحة استراليا، لأنه نحن بنمثل سوريا بهالبلد. أنا بفتخر بالفرصة اللي عطتنا فيها هالبلد حتى نظهر إمكانياتنا وجهودنا اللي بنبذلها لمصلحة البلد. أنا بالأصل مهندس سوري، مهندس مدني من خريج جامعة حلب بال81، وهاجرت لأستراليا بال1988. بشكر الجمعية السورية للأعمال بسدني للعمل الرائع بجمع رجال الأعمال لتنمية الحركة الإنشائية وتشغيل كل من يحتاج الشغل بهالبلد وإعطائه الفرصة، لأنه يحل نحن بدنا الجيل الجديد يحل محلنا. ثانك يو لكم.
طبعا بالبداية بدي أقول يسعد مسا الجميع، وبتشكر جميع الحضور وكتير مبسوطين طبعا بهالوجود الحلو وهالاجتماع من الجالية العربية السورية. طبعا إلي فخر أن أكون من أحد أشخاص المدعوين على هيك حفل. طبعا أنا اسمي سليم كريش من مدينة حمص، من أبناء الجالية العربية السورية، وإن نفخر نكون موجودين بضمن هالفعالية الحلوة وهالاجتماع الحلو يلي طبعا بيجمع كل رجال الأعمال والأصحاب والأحباب ليكونوا روح وحدة، ودائما بذكرى أنه هن عايشين كأنه ببلدهم. صحيح هن بعيدين عن البلد، لكن القلب وبالمحبة بعدهم قريبين، وبتم الذكرى يعني أجمل وأحلى بلقائهم عن قرب. طبعا نحن بنشتغل بالاستيراد والتصدير، وعنا مطعم أرماني بمدينة سدني. طبعا مطعم أرماني معروف ومشهور لكل الجاليات العربية وغير العربية، يعني هو ميكس من كل الجاليات في العالم. طبعا نفتخر ونتشرف بوجودنا كمطعم سوري على مدينة سدني. بيجمع الجاليات العربية وغير العربية، بيجمع الأهل والأصحاب. طبعا في مناسبات خاصة بيجمع فيها العالم جميعا، ومنقربهم من بعض وبيحسوا كأنه هن ببلدهم، ببلد الأم، بلد سوريا الحبيبة. وطبعا عندنا محلات أرماني جاليري موجودة ببراماتا وببنغستون، منطقة بنغستون وفيلاوود. عندنا استيراد بضائع هدايا وتحف أثرية من سوريا ومن جميع الشرق الأوسط طبعا. والحمد لله مبسوطين، وبين وجود الجالية العربية الكبيرة الفعالة طبعا بسوريا، وهذا الشيء بيعطينا دعم وفخر لنكبر أكثر ونمثل بسوريا ونمثل بلدنا الحبيب بأهم الإنجازات. طبعا هو الشيء الحلو أنه كشعب سوري الحمد لله نحن وين ما كنا موجودين بسوريا ولا برات سوريا بنعمل إنتاج أحلى وأحلى. وطبعا لكن بوجودنا برات سوريا لازم نقدم المظهر الأجمل والأرقى والأحلى والفعال لنعرف سوريا هي البلد الأول بالعالم إن شاء الله. وبتمنى التوفيق للجميع ولكل الحضور، وشكرا جزيلا للمتابعين.
هنادي الأسود، عندي محل بيع بهارات وشاي بمنطقة ميريلاند، هوني منطقة فيها عرب كتير. أنا عشت بحمص سوريا، عشت هونيك 8 سنين، وإلي هلأ هوني مغتربة زمان كتير. نحن هوني عم نجتمع كأصحاب أعمال، عندنا محلات وبزنس، وعم نتعرف على بعض كجالية سورية، وعن جد كتير مبسوطين لأنه أول حدث بيصير للبزنس يعني. وأنا بتشكر كتير الأستاذ علي جوري اللي عزمني والأعضاء جميعا، وبتمنى على طول النجاح لهم، ونتمنى نقدر نكبر مع بعض. شكرا كتير.
اسمي لانا عبد الأحد. أنا اليوم متواجدة بإيفنت، هو إيفنت مقام من قبل المجلس الاسترالي السوري برعاية الدكتور علي جوري، يلي أقيم بالسمرلاند بانكستاون. هيدا الحفل كان اليوم هو تعارف للرجال الأعمال السوريين يلي عم يقوموا بالبزنس بأستراليا. بدي أتشكرهم لدعوتي اليوم لحتى أنا أحضر هيدا الإيفنت، وإني كون متواجدة بإيفنت بيدعم الأعمال السورية هون بأستراليا. بدي أتمنى لهم كل التوفيق. أنا عملي التصميم الجرافيكي وأيضا تنظيم الإيفنتات بأستراليا، وأنا من سوريا. شكرا.